Hey everybody, thanks for watching Peace, Love, and Guns. Today we have a very unusual treat for you. We are going to be installing the Mercy Less Lethal 12-gram conversion kit and the Mercy Less Lethal magazine extension on the Byrna HD 68 caliber defensive launcher. This is a product that was given to us for free at my request by Mercy Less Lethal. We are going to do a fair and unbiased review of it. This is a video of how to do this installation in a nutshell. If you want to see how to do this in complete detail, check out the Mercy Less Lethal videos, and the links will be down in the doobly-doo for that. In a nutshell, we have to take this defensive launcher, and we're going to be pulling this tab out. It's a long metal bar that goes the length of the pistol. We're going to pull that out. It will allow us to remove the top slide type action off of it, and we will loosen up multiple screws on this device so that we can separate the clamshell molding design. We do not want to take these screws out at all because that's where the fire control components are at, and we do not want this thing to go spring in. We will be taking out this screw and this screw completely, and we'll be loosening off all of these screws. We're going to loosen these screws a little bit more. We're going to loosen these screws a little bit less. We're going to do a full rotation on these back screws, about 1.5 turns on these screws, and then the front screws are going to come out completely. So without further ado, we're going to install the 12-gram conversion for the Mercy Less Lethal conversion kit on the Byrna HD. Now, Mercy Less Lethal also includes this little nubbin. This is so that once you install this device, you can still use the 8-gram CO2 cartridges if you so choose. So let's go ahead and get into it. You will need a 3/32 Allen key, and we'll go ahead and get crack-a-lackin' on that. Now, this gun is very particular. These screws are different lengths. There's enough differences there that it makes a difference where they go back. So I got this off the left side. I'm going to put it on the left over here. Take off the right side, 3/32 Allen key. Those appear to be the same length, but it came off the right side. I'll put it on the right side. We're going to back off this one about 1.5 turns. 1.5 turns. The same thing with the one holding the trigger group together. About 1.5 turns. About 1.5 turns. 1 turn on either of these. We do not want to take these screws out because we do not want a mess on our hands. I'm pretty handy and I could probably put this back together just fine, but we don't want to have to do that. Now, this little tab comes out, and you just pry that out. I'm going to kind of use the Allen key to pull on it some, and you'll see what I mean. That goes the entire length of that slide, the faux slide, and that pulls out. Now, your detent / loaded indicator does have 2 springs. They're coil springs. They sit right there. Don't lose those. We can try and get this off, and it just slides off. And you can see there's one of the coil springs, there's the other. We will need those. I'll put them in the middle. There's our detent. And that's what it looks like opened up. So now the object is to get the current chamber or the CO2 cartridge sleeve, to get the current one out and the new one in. And the way we're going to do that is first we have to take this bit off. You use the magazine like you would normally. Insert in and rotate. That comes out. There's our magazine. Okay, now we have to get this sleeve out. We should be able to pull this out at some point, but we need to kind of get the halves pulled apart some. I'm just gonna loosen this one up just a little bit more. See if we can get a little bit more spread on the clamshell. All right, you can see how that came out. And this one is going to go in like so. Now this don't be confused on which side is the back side. This one has the threads on it for that. So that one's going to go in. You can see that there's a flat. The flat is on top, where it would be underneath the barrel. So we got to get that rotated and to the proper location where those screw holes, we would be able to see through it. And we need to get the barrel and all of that stuff set so that everything closes up nice and tidy. If you're having trouble getting this back together so that the action works properly, what we need to do is you can spread the clamshell further enough to get the barrel assembly out. It has the spring and it has a little ring on it as well. The pawls on the trigger, you can see them moving back and forth in there right now. That's what they bear on to move this barrel back and forth. You also have a metal tab and a notch. The notch slides over that white detent on both sides, and the notch rides inside that rail. So if you get lost and this starts to not go back together well, you don't have something fitting right. So what we need to do is preload the spring on the barrel. This bottom edge has a notch cut out in it. That's where it loads the balls. That goes down, and we're going to put it into the body of the weapon like so. Kind of spread it, jiggle it, push it back, and make sure those notches are down. Okay. And kind of squeeze the clamshell. Make sure it recesses right. You should wind up with this plastic ring. Needs to go up against the metal nubbin on the barrel. The locking pawls seem to need to act on that gray plastic ring, and the spring is retained by the body of the gun itself. So that's that. We're going to screw down these screws just a little bit. Okay. All right. Our holes for our detent springs. Drop them several times. Okay, so those springs go there. A little bit of silicone grease would be good on those to keep them from falling out. Set the little circular doodads there. That just sets down on there pretty easily, actually. Setting the detent on top of the springs and then setting that down on top. And we're gonna push this in, this piece. Gonna push this piece into the holes in the back. Okay.
It's golden.
It's golden. And I'm just gonna cinch these guys up. Dude, all right, so we've got trigger action and we have the 12-gram conversion. And that's it, simple. Super simple.
I feel positive about it. How do you feel?
Pretty good. That was a little bit of a pain in the butt, but you gotta know what you're doing. So that's how you install the Byrna HD Mercy Less Lethal 12-gram cartridge conversion kit.